Hello, it's Randy Duck and welcome back for another video. This time I'm just going through some old replays I've got stored up and trying to clear them out. And I've got 3 replays for you in the tier 10 British medium tank, the Centurion Action X. So yeah, 3 replays for you today. Like I say, I had them stored up for quite a while. And I just wanted to clear these out before I can, start getting some new content for some of the newer tanks coming out. And yeah, so we're on Fisherman's Bay and there's one fun police in the game, and we pushed up to the usual location I like to go for this spawn at the start. That's sort of utilising this ridge line. You can quite often get shots into stuff peeking, or side shots of stuff moving into the town. But as you've seen, we have that fun police just only narrowly missed me there. It is risky, you can get shot by the artillery here, and that is a risk, but also, it's risk reward, isn't it? It's also where the damage is going to be early doors, so I do want to be where the damage is, so I've just got to play a little bit careful, and, when I'm lit for too long, just try and relocate, move about, lose your spot, just to, just reduce the chances of artillery hitting you. You're obviously not going to be completely safe. As you see here, I've realised the artillery is probably just about reloaded now after the first shot of me. So I'm going to move about, make myself not a complete stationary target. Just try and lose my spot, or just make myself a little bit harder to shoot from the artillery. But at the same time, I don't want to miss the early damage which I'm going to get. And now, this tank has obviously been in the game for a long time. There's probably lots of other, arguably you could say, better tier 10 mediums nowadays with sort of the power crept and stuff. But for me, personally, I still really enjoy the Centurion Action X. It meets that playstyle criteria for me. It's got 10 degrees of gun depression. It's got a decent gun, decent reload, nice and accurate. And it does have turret armour. You can, if you're using the gun depression, you can bounce shots off your turret. It's not a turret which I'm going to say is completely, you can't just completely dependent on it. It's not like the Valor type turret or the Chieftain turret where you can bounce a lot of shots off of it. Fighting these sort of high caliber, enemy TDs and stuff like that, they can go straight through your turret. So it's just something to be aware of. Don't just sit there, hold down, thinking, I'm immune to getting, I'm going to rack up the blocks on your turret, because that's not going to be the case. You can get penetrate for your basically gunman on this tank. But having said that, if you only expose yourself for a limited amount of time, if you're using a full gun depression to increase the angle of your armour, it is possible, to bounce a few shots off it. It's not 100% reliable. But you see here, it's paying off me being this location. I've got nice shots into this town, which is ideally why I was here, just trying to get shots, side shots of anything crossing early doors. And we managed to put a little bit of punishment into this E100. While he's distracted by our friendly heavies, we're going to try and get as many shots in as we can. We're sort of close up to this building in front of me, which makes it harder for the artillery to land a direct hit on me. Obviously it can still splash me, it's things like the T92 etc, it's going to do a lot of splash damage, so I'm definitely not immune to artillery. You see there, he narrowly missed me there. Fortunately for me, he only took a tiny bit of my hit points off of me, but I've got to be careful. It's, while I'm probably the only one spotted at this, also they've got stuff in the town which is lit up. The stuff on the left of the map on friendly teams is not lit. I suppose it's not lit, so the artillery is probably going to be focusing on me. So that's just something I've got to bear in mind. This cheap machine is poked up, and I've got to be careful of him. He's a dangerous tank, because obviously at any moment he could, if he decided to, ruin my day by sort of full sending me and taking most of my hit points out. I'm not saying he's going to do that, but it's just something I've got to be mindful of, which could happen. And also just not expose myself too much and end up getting trapped while my repair kit is on reload, on cooldown, and then end up getting like a full clip of him. So he is, something I've got to pay attention for. So you see here, I've realised I've been I've been lit for too long there. I'm going to try and lose my spot, because there was nothing for me to shoot at the moment. I wanted to try and lose my spot. Maybe the artillery will stop looking at me that way. and find other targets. He might get impatient. I'm just trying to make it a little bit harder. Now we've got this E100, I've got APCR loaded, so I'll struggle to go for his turret, but if he turns like that, I will be able to get a shot into him. I swapped to the heat shells now, just in case he faces me, and then I can try and get a shot through the front of his turret face. Unfortunately, he's sort of just hidden enough behind the wall that I'm not quite able to get the shot, but then he turns, exposes himself, and we're able to shut him down, bring this to it's a 6 versus 6 now, so it's been a quite close game, isn't it, which is always quite nice. We do then manage to shut down the enemy artillery, the enemy bum police, and that was a lovely shot, because that relieves the pressure for me now. Now I only need to worry about what's in front of me, what can actually shoot me. I'm not going to get shot from the skies, and I don't need to keep playing artillery. I'm not going to say safe, because you're never safe, but just limiting the opportunity to get shot by the artillery, just making it a little bit harder for him, because in the day, if you're lit and there's a bum police and you're just completely stationary in one target, not doing any attempt to move, you are going to get hit. It's just you're asking to be hit. So that is something you need to do. It's just sometimes you miss out on a little bit of damage by moving about, losing your spot, but it's just necessary evil, I'm afraid. But now we put this down to a 4 versus 3, but it isn't one yet. We do have a fun police left on our side, which is good. So we can try and light these TDs up at the back. We should be able to, potentially get some assistance. But at my focus at the moment is trying to take this machine out, because he's a one-shot. We know we can finish him in one shot, and then it's going to mean I'm able to move up and try and light their tank destroyers at the back and try and claim some assistance. So at this point, the machine's been taken out by our standard B. Thank you for that. And now we're looking for some shots, or just to try and light up the TDs. Because I don't want to throw this game. It's a 4 versus 2, but look, I could be one shot easily now by the Jag E100, and maybe one shot by the Waffle if he's using the big gun. I don't know what gun he's got. So I'm going to try and rotate around the right of the map. Unfortunately, I'm kind of stuck in a graveyard, and all this smoke is kind of distracting me and making me lose a lot of time, which is annoying, because I want to get to this position as quickly as I can, because obviously I want to get the most out of it. I want to try and get some more shots of damage in this game. So I'm moving around here on the right, trying to create an angle, because if they're going to get pushed by our friendly TD and medium on the left-hand side of the map, they're likely to move backwards, and then hopefully I'll be able to catch them in the crossfire, catch them off guard, and then get some easier damage and less risky damage if they're not paying attention to me. So this Yagi 100, we see he has tried to move, as I predicted, out of the town, and we've got a nice shot into him then. He's now tracked in place, and he's actually getting farmed by our standard B, and we pick up some assistance there, and this game, in theory all but one now, hopefully. We just got to try and finish off this Waffle. We get a lovely snapshot into him there, bring us up to over 5,000 damage, and he then gets taken out. So that's it for the first replay. We've still got 2 more to come. So if you stay with us, we'll get to the scoreboard and we'll see how we did. So we picked up 4 kills, just over 5,000 damage, 1,000 assistance, and picking up the ace tanker. So not bad for the first game, but yeah, so got 2 more to come. So stay with us and we'll see you in a bit. Okay, welcome back to the second replay of the video. This time we've got something a little bit different, because it's one of the games which happens quite a lot. Now, usually when you play, the most enjoyable game is when it's a close game all the way to the end. You don't know who's going to win. You've got to really try to get that win. That's when you're having the most fun, or when I'm personally having the most fun, when you've really got to work for that victory. It doesn't always happen, and sometimes your team completely train rolls and destroys the other team, and it's just a complete, absolute waffle stop. And when that happens, although it's not the most fun or enjoyable game, there's still a knack to getting your damage, because at that stage you've got to really act fast, and it's just about knowing when to push, take some more gambles, because otherwise, if a game and the pace of the game is moving that quickly, you've got to be able to adjust to that pace of the game and make sure you stay ahead of your team to get that damage. Otherwise, the game's going to be over and you're not going to get anything. And that's going to be one of these games. So we're starting off with a normal position on Overlord. We're pushed up to this location. There is 2 front police in the game, but we're trying to get a few shots on anything poking. But one thing I have noticed is I haven't really got that many mediums poking from a shot, so I'm trying to get shots into the light tanks. And we successfully managed to land a couple of shots into a light tank, picking up a kill and getting a shot into that T100. So we're going to move over to a little bit, just in case the front police is aiming on me. And I've decided, you know what, I'm not really getting it. There's not many mediums pushing over onto me. So I'm going to make the aggressive play, which comes with its risk if you do get full send. But also it comes with your rewards. Because if you take this position early on, you really put the enemy under some serious pressure. Because what you do, I've poked up here, and you can see I've lit the stuff camping in the back. And then you can get some really, you squeeze the enemy team into a position where you've taken a lot of the map control away from them. And as you see, how this game's played out, the mediums are pushed to my left and the heavies, and I've got shots in, to the side of them now. But here's why I say it comes with a risk, because you do get things like this, and I've got full sent by a light tank. Fortunately for me, we've killed the other light tank and we put one in and we damaged his engine there. And now I'm just poking up and trying to get as many shots in as you can, because you see the enemy team have already lost 4 tanks. It's still, there's still a fair amount of hit points in, but you're getting a feeling of how this game could end up going. So I'm trying to make every shot count here. I'm still in an aggressive position. I'm still the furthest forwards of my team, so I know that I'm going to be ahead of the damage at this stage, and it's just about keeping it that way. And trying to look for the shots here we can. You've seen this Valor is a one shot. I've already got a couple of kills, I believe, so I wanted to try and get as many kills as I can now. And now all of a sudden it's like a 14-8 scenario and the enemy team is getting massacred. So this is when you know you've got to hit every shot, and you want to make sure you're doing what I am here now. I could get hit by artillery here, but I've got to take that risk because I have to be where the damage is, otherwise you're not going to get anything. Now we're going to poke over, and this is where we're thinking about going into a gauge. We've noticed now, it's a 14-7. If we're going to get any damage, make anything happen in this game, we've got to push. They're mostly on the beach. We should be able to get behind them here. And you see, now I've moved up, my teams are sort of moving with me. And it's just a race to farm the damage now, isn't it? We've got a shot into the S-bomb, picking ourselves up another kill. We're going to move down to see if we can deal with his medium. We try a cheeky snap on the way, but we don't manage to land that. He is now a one shot. We're hoping to come and finish him off, pick ourselves up another kill. And now we've got this E4. Now the damage is literally, there's 3 tanks left. So if I have to take a shot off of this E4 to get an extra shot in, at this stage it doesn't matter, because I can't carry those hit points to the next game, can I? So I'm just full sending. I'll go side on in front of this guy if it means I get the kill, because I just got to take that gamble. Fortunately, I don't get shot. We pick up another kill. We realise this T95's a one shot, so we're going to try and finish him off. And now it's just about, do we manage to pick up the last kill? We don't. And that game was over in a heartbeat, wasn't it? It was suddenly over. I think this game turns out to be 3.5 minutes. So it's not a very long game at all, but we do manage to still pick up 4,500 damage, 1,200 assistance, and 8 kills picking up the Radleys. So obviously we don't have a massive damage scoring game because the damage just wasn't available. 3.5 minutes, the whole team is dead. But this is what I'm saying, in these sort of games you have to act fast in order to make sure you get your damage, because otherwise any sort of hesitation, then you won't get anything out of the game, because the game will be over too fast. So yeah, like I say, it's one of those games that are not that enjoyable to play, just because I like the more, the longer drawn out games. But that's just the way these games happen, and that's what I try to do in that scenario to make the most out of the situation. So yeah, thank you for watching. We've got one more replay to come, so stay with us, and I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so here we are for the final replay of the video. This time we're on Duca Pass in counter battle, and we are platooned up with Swindle and Big Rossi. So yeah, we've got a nice 3-man platoon going along here. And yeah, so to be honest with you, it's a bit of a weird one, this encounter. A lot of the fight at the start can happen, just directly in front of you down the 1-2 line. So that's probably where we're going to start to push over at the start, and just get over there, see what we spot, and then kind of work it out from there, to be honest, because you don't really know until you've got a bit of information. You're not going to know exactly where the team are going to be. So that's my initial plan anyway, is to head over there and just see what we can find out. Obviously Ross is in the L100, so he might be able to spot a few stuff and give us a bit of information early. They obviously have 3 lights as well, which you can, when you get too many lights in the enemy team, that can be a pain at times. But yeah, we're just going to just see what we can do. You know, hopefully if we do manage to get over here, we can use this bridge. You know, probably use our gun depression and get a few shots in. We saw an enemy light tank crossing there. We tried to get a shot into him. Unfortunately, we don't quite manage to. We've got to be a little bit careful now because we are lit. Obviously, I don't want to get hit by that, you know, enemy fun police. We spotted the enemy L2100 pushing around. He's, to be honest with you, if he's not careful, he's probably going to send himself to the garage, but that's good for us. And now, you know, we've realised we're able to push up a little bit more aggressive here. You know, the enemy team haven't pushed right up, and I want to get there really before they do now, just to take control of the map and force the enemy team into the smallest area of the map as we can. So yeah, we're moving in here. We've got ourselves into a nice little position. Got hold down a little bit of cover. We can't quite get a gun down, so we just adjust our angle of our tank, just wait for him to turn, put the tracking shot in, and we're just hoping now what we can just keep this guy permanently tracked. Unfortunately, we don't manage to pen that shot, but we do keep him tracked, and we take up 1,000 assistance on tracking damage. Then we get a nice shot into that hollow hand, and he gets taken out. So taking out an enemy light tank, which is always nice. It's looking like there's not much more that side, or not much visible to us. So we're going to move in and see if we can catch anything out which is crossing to the middle, just like this Object 257 has. And with the great accuracy of this tank, we should hopefully be able to put a shot into this lower plate, and we do, putting him onto a one-shot to anybody. We're going to take a gamble just in case he's still tracked in place. Unfortunately, we don't manage to blind shot that one. But now, you know, picked up a decent start of the game. 1,000 damage, 1,000 track assistance. So we're having a decent start. We're going to pull around, see if we can get these side shots. Now this is where, sweetie bum time. There's a Death Star, but fortunately he doesn't, he's on either shot or wasn't ready to shoot me, and we managed to avoid a shot there. But now, this is kind of how I play sometimes. I take a lot of risks, which I might not need to. I'm playing peekaboo with a Death Star here. Bit risky, but it pays off. He missed his shot, and we light him on fire, and now we're able to move over to the other side of the ridge. And my reason here is I wanted to get rid of that Death Star as quick as I could, because I wanted to move to this side of the ridge and almost come up above them and get side shots into them. That was my plan. But then this Object 268 gets spotted, and he's kind of putting a spanner in the works, because he's right in, in an awkward position for me. I mean, that was a terrible shot. Should have aimed for his cupola there. But yeah, he's putting a little spanner in my works, because I can't quite push to that location where I wanted to. I wanted to go round on the ridge and shoot down on the enemy team. But he's sort of preventing me from doing that at the moment. We've seen this light tank. We thought we was going to get the kill, but then Rossi rams him and picks that one up. But yeah, that is another light tank out of the game. So we're going to have to change our approach. We know we can't quite go round there, so we think we'll see what we can do up here. But we then spot a Ragnarok, and we spot another enemy TD, so that's kind of killed that little bit for us. But this Object tank destroyer to my left is now engaged with Rossi, and he is no longer causing, he's not peeking that ridge to get side shots into me. So I'm going to use that opportunity to try and move around and get side shots on this Ragnarok and the other TD. But I think then Rossi calls for my assistance, so I'm trying to move back now to see if I can help Rossi out and get some shots into his TD. Unfortunately, I take 2 in return from the Ragnarok, but it is what it is. I've still got 1,000 plus hit points, so we're hoping we might be able to take out this TD now, to get rid of this Object 268. We go for the tracking shot again, pick up a bit more tracking assistance. Hopefully we can finish him off, which we do. Securing herself another kill and 3,300 damage. So yeah, that was quite a good little result. We get a nice shot into Object 263 there, and actually damages ammo rack. We go for the track wheel. Unfortunately, just managed to turn to evade that for us. And unfortunately for us, Rossi gets shut down by the Ragnarok, meaning I've got to back up now, because I don't want this guy to push and face hug me and put me in an awkward situation. Obviously, you know, he doesn't have a turret, so if I'm able to get behind him and put a shot through his drive wheel, I'll be able to make short work of him. But at the same time, I still don't want to get hit by the enemy fun police, and I don't want to get caught out by that guy, because he does have a nasty gun, and he could make short work of me if I play a bit stupid. So we made it look like we was going around that way. Then we're going to turn around now. We've seen our heavy tank engaging him, and hoping we're going to be able to catch him unaware, which we do. We try and get a shot into his drive wheel, but to be honest with you, the trees kind of threw me a little bit, and I couldn't quite work out where that was. We get a lucky shot there, we actually penned him in place. And yeah, taking the shots off and tracks off there, and now we know we're going to finish him off. We're just about to see whether we get the kill or not, and we do. And now we've had a really nice, game. Now we've got 5,400 damage, 1,640, which seems to be all tracking assistance, which is good. And we just hope at this point, hoping the remaining tanks are healthy, so that we can get some more damage and try and get a good result for this game. So my eyes lit up there when we saw full health IS4, and I was thinking that is a lot of hit points, and I want to try and get to that IS4 as quickly as we can, to try and make the most of it, and just get as much of that damage as we can, really. So yeah, that's the plan. We're going to push up, hopefully we can catch him unaware. Maybe we'll get a shot for his drive wheel, pick up some more track assistance, because we've already got 1,600 track assistance. I free marked this tank anyway, but if you are going for third marks, it's just something to note is you can only take track assistance or spotting assistance, whichever is the biggest counts your marks of excellence. So that's just something to bear in mind, basically. So if you've got one or the other, try to keep getting one, basically. We do take a shot off that IS4 there, but we get another one in for return. I was just seeing if I could help Sai, but he gets that E5 gets shut down by the Waffle 100, and now we're going to try and get a shot into this guy's drive wheel. We actually damage his engine there, keeping him in place, and we're hoping, I'm happy to eat a shell if I have to, but fortunately for me, he bounces anyway. We get him tracked in place, and we pick up the rest of his health and track assistance. Unfortunately, he does get shot down by artillery. I would quite like another peg to see if I could get myself above 7k, but that's not the case, and it's just piggy hunting now, isn't it? Everyone's favourite time. Me and Swindle are racing to see who gets to claim the prize, and yeah, we're just hunting for this remaining piggy. It looks like he's just got lit up, and I'm thinking, oh, will I get there? And unfortunately for me, Swindle wins the race, and he picks up the artillery kill. But yeah, that brings us an end to this video, and yeah, an end to the video completely. So yeah, let's just see what we got. We managed to pick up 3 kills, 6,567 damage, 2,310 assistance, another ace tanker, and a high caliber. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that replay. As I said, I just wanted to get rid of some of these Centurion replays I've had building up. And as always, thank you so much for your support, and happy tanking.
Enemy in sight! Hadouken!